All right, we are back once again. 2 weeks, man, we've survived.
Yeah, we sure did. Ooh.
I can't believe it. We've actually survived another 2 weeks.
And a lot of rain, too.
Oh, yeah, no, that's in Australia.
We have rain here.
Yeah, a little bit, man, you know. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Entertainment First podcast, where it's all about the music and more. And today we have actually got three very special guests, but the other one to come on is a sub-guest a little bit later on. Miss Sally Olson and Ned Mills, also known as the Carpenters tribute concert. Now, you're lucky because, you know, I grew up with them. And I also met a few of them, okay? I'm originally from New Jersey, but in California, I started out when they started out. So I'm very familiar with the Carpenters, their music, and I'm also familiar with her medical problem as well that she had before it took her out. You know, but I always thought they had a really, really nice sound, and they certainly proved to be a force in the music industry. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Sally Olson and Ned Mills. So, what's up, my brothers and sisters?
Hey, thanks for having us on.
Oh, not a problem, not a problem whatsoever. You can thank my producer because she made me aware of you guys. And
Luke Perry. Shout out to Luke.
Say again.
Shout out to Luke Perry.
Oh, Luke Perry. You know Luke Perry, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Luke was back there. Luke was back in the day where I was in Los Angeles. That's how I know Luke.
It's his fault that we're on.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
His fault.
Blame him.
Blame him. Yeah. You start. When did you start the recreation of the Carpenters?
Well, I started performing as Karen Carpenter in January of 2015, so I've been doing this for about 6 years now.
Okay.
And a couple of years into the project, I'm originally from the East Coast, from Vermont.
Okay,
And,
not too far from me, New Jersey.
Yeah, so the show has naturally evolved over the years, and a couple of years into it, I saw where I wanted it to go, and I also realized that I needed somebody to be playing the role of Richard, not just a pianist. I really wanted to do it right and go all out, and so I had performed my show at the Triad Theater in New York City in April of 2017, and it was doing that show. One of the gentlemen who was there, he was really excited about the show, and he said he had some ideas, and he ended up connecting me with his childhood friend, Pamela Sullivan, who's a former showgirl, and she lives here in Las Vegas. So I talked with Pam for a few months, and we made the plan for me to come out here to Las Vegas. And I made my first trip here in January of 2018. And for a couple of reasons, she thought that I should audition for Legends in Concert, which I ultimately ended up doing. And
yeah, I know your producer. I know him very well.
Oh, okay. And then she scheduled me to sit in with several pianists, and Ned was the first one at the tap house that shortly after I arrived, and he also ended up being the last one because we hit it off so well, and
That was it.
the rest is history. And then
I thought
I
I recognized him. I couldn't believe, because I used to go up to the tap house when they had that really lovely band up there. Remember?
Yeah.
I thought I recognized you from there. Yeah,
Had a
that's what
good
I thought.
run. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, John. Did you have a question?
Oh, and I've been Tap House too. So how has it been since you all got together? How has it been going with everything?
Well, pre-COVID, things took off quickly. We were also a couple, and shortly after we were together, we both came to the same realization: why don't we do a recreation of the Carpenters' live performances, not just a tribute or just doing songs or what have you? So Sally is very meticulous with details as far as costumes, and my degree is in jazz arranging. I went to North Texas State. And so we combined our talents together and put a recreation of the 1976 UK tour. And it had a huge success. You know, pre-COVID, we had multiple concerts lined up all over the country and did really well. It got great reviews from people. We put a good, really nice video together. Had a lot of accolades from that. And then, obviously, during COVID, we decided to use that time focusing on our new Christmas show that we were in the process of writing, and we debuted that in Vegas and then did it in Texas. And Sally did a 6 weeks with Legends in concert in Myrtle Beach. 8 weeks, excuse me, 8 weeks in Myrtle Details.
That's all right. That's all right. That's okay.
And she's going back to Legends for
6 weeks.
Thank you. And at a theater in Alabama, right,
Yeah,
for this
yeah.
coming Christmas. So yeah, we've been busy and staying focused even despite the challenges presented to us. And when people give us lemons, we make lemonade.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's the secret too. No doubt about it. Now tell me a little bit about your Christmas show.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, like details.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, I'm the
I'll leave that to
detail person.
Karen.
yeah.
So much like our main show, our Christmas show, we wanted to approach it in a similar way, except the challenge was that the Carpenters didn't tour with a Christmas show. People knew or were familiar with their Christmas songs by listening to the Christmas albums and watching their Christmas television specials that they did in 1977 and 1978. So from that, I got the idea to try to recreate those two television specials. And I took the script from both of those and kind of interrolled them into one storyline. And so that became the basis for our Christmas show from,
All right.
you know, from the script to all the costumes, and even we've interjected interspersed rather, some vintage commercials that you would have seen playing at that time.
Yeah, TV commercials. People get a kick out of,
Very familiar,
saying,
yeah.
He has a first name. It's
You know, I got to also comment on there's a photo that you have which is on your poster. From that angle, I can tell you, personally, that photo looks like her. So maybe she's in your lineage and you don't know about it.
Maybe.
You never know.
Yeah, no, but I said to my wife Kimberly, I said, look at that photo. But I mean, Kimberly's not as familiar with the Carpenters as I am, but I know that photo. There's a photo that she has from a certain angle. You actually look like her, so that helps. That's going to help your show to the max. My man here, I think he looked like Barry Manilow. I don't care what he says. He can do Barry Manilow easy. You can do it easy, man.
Well, really, Karen Carpenter looks like her.
Don't you know I can't live with... You'd be good. Yeah, no worries, man.
Carpenters did that song.
Now, do you still work with Johnny Stewart?
Well, I'm doing the Legends in concert. I did my first
Right,
concert with him.
so he still owns it.
He's been
He
not part of it for a while,
sold
but
the show. He sold out the show many years ago.
Oh, he did?
He's still staying in contact with them. Maybe,
yeah.
who knows, maybe they'll get back together. And
I saw him.
understand.
I actually saw him about a few months ago, really. Remember he was driving down
he
the
came
street.
for a show. Yeah, we were at the Italian American Club. We did a show a few weeks ago, and he was in the audience, and he loved it. Now
Yeah, right.
He's a big fan of the show now, and
Yeah, no, I saw him. He was driving his big Rolls Royce. He was driving his big Rolls Royce.
No,
All
Johnny's a good
the
guy.
musicians here. No, I shouldn't say
No,
that.
yeah, Johnny's a good guy too.
Yeah, I know Johnny really well, man. He did some things to me one time, and I would tell him this too. So it's not something he had me because I did James Brown, right? And he wanted James Brown in the show, and they were going to open up at the Plaza. They were going to open up at the Plaza, and he had me dress up the whole shot. And he didn't show up, man. I was enraged, Yeah, I got into total costumes because he wanted me to do Legends as well. Never worked out, but one thing leads to another. So go ahead, John. You had another question?
Yes. So what got you into playing piano and everything else?
It's in our family. It's in our gene. My grandmother was a silent movie piano player. Back around 1919, 1920. Don't do the math.
No, I know it is.
And-
That's when my mom and dad were born.
Hold on. Let me get my calculator. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And but that old school stride type piano is kind of was handed down to me. My father played piano and he played trumpet, and so I was like 4 or 5 years old. I was like, Daddy, I want to play something. So he'd give me a couple of notes to kind of play along.
Right.
And it's like, hey, he's got a pretty good sense of rhythm, you know. And he put me into piano lessons when I was in the 2nd grade, and I was torn between piano and trumpet for many years until I realized there's not many solo trumpet bars around. So I played trumpet in the school band, concert band, high school marching band. And in college, I majored in trumpet and minored in piano for 2 years at East Carolina. And then I transferred to North Texas State University and switched it. And I was a piano major and a trumpet minor. And so that's pretty much what I've been doing. I came to Vegas 21 years ago and didn't know one person, and I realized I found a niche as far as in conducting a lot of Rat Pack shows and corporate events. I've done some stints with the late Joe Rivers and the late Don Rickles and many of the entertainers. I get calls from Bob Anderson. He calls me to do some stuff with him as well, and I've done pretty good so far. So
all those people I know, because Bobby Morris was my manager for a while. Remember Bobby Morris?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bobby Morris was my manager
Wow.
for what, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
About 4 or 5 years. You know, at that time he had Elvis and he had Robert Goulet and Wayne Newton, I think, and England Dan and John Ford Coley too as well. So are you still arranging these days or what? You still doing some arranging?
Occasionally, most of the writing, the bulk of the writing I've been doing is for the Carpenters show.
Right.
In fact, I have had some people request, hey, I like your arrangements. Can you send me? It's not for public. It's not for sale. It's for our exclusive use. You know.
Right. I got you.
So that's the bulk of what I've been writing right now. It's almost like if you had to pay somebody to quilt you a blanket, if you consider the number of hours it goes into,
I know.
make.
We have very similar backgrounds because I'm a trumpet player as well, but they always forced me up to sing lead. So and you know I played with a lot of bands. You know I played with traveled with Ike and Tina Turner, Stevie Wonder, a few other people. You know back in the day, and Lou Rawls was probably one of my best friends.
Yeah.
He was probably one of my best friends. Probably the most down to earth guy, you know, that I had met. And I know a lot of people, but he was probably the most down to earth that I ever really worked with, you know.
Speaking of trumpet, a lot of people who are fans of Carpenters, of course, it's common knowledge among hardcore fans that, you know, Carpenters, their entire career, they stayed loyal to A&M Records.
Yes, that's right.
And the A&M is Herb Alpert. Herb Alpert is the one who gave them their big break.
Yeah.
And so as a crowd pleaser added attraction, I opened for us. I do a tribute to Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass.
Right, okay, yeah. I know because I used to stand on La Brea and wait to run in to try to get a record contract. I did that for early 70s. I would wait at Capitol Records, which you couldn't get in because they had one of those push button things on Vine Street. And then I would go up to La Brea and wait. Even Liberty Records. What was the guy that went to prison? You know, the English guy that killed the girl. What was his name? You know, the English guy. The one who produced the Beatles and all of that.
He went to jail?
Yeah, you know, the one
George Martin?
No.
No.
Oh, man.
I didn't know he went to jail.
Yeah, he just died in prison, as a matter of fact. Liberty Records.
Okay, I should have studied. I didn't know there was going to be a quiz.
It was Liberty. No, that's all right. Well, you know the name. You know the name.
I heard. He just died like a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
right?
he was a very, very famous producer that produced most of the English groups that came over here in the 60s.
Okay.
Phil Spector.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Phil Spector.
Phil
Okay.
Spector. Yeah, Phil Spector.
Yeah.
So,
You got it.
Yeah, that's it.
So I heard. So with you, I heard you have a drummer with you.
No, Sally is the drummer.
You're a drummer? too?
Yeah. Like,
I thought you had a small drummer with you too.
Get a drummer
We
song.
have a backup band. Oh, no, we got a little drummer with her.
Yeah,
This
see,
is-
there's it.
Solo.
Yeah, that was a period. So what I was saying is that we have very similar backgrounds because I started out as a trumpet player, and then in college I ended up taking piano, and but I thought a little bit ahead of time because I met some people in Los Angeles when I first got there, like what's the guy, David Carradine, because most people didn't realize because he came along with the Carpenters as well, and we all had a gig at a place called PJ's in Los Angeles, and one of the guys said to me, he said, "Oh man, I know you want to be a musician," he said, "but I think you need to learn a little bit about business." So I switched piano to business law. That's
Okay.
I ended up. It didn't help me very much because I got ripped off anyway. But, it didn't help me very much. But nowadays, you only learn from experience anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So, well, I see he never came. I had a record label back in the '80s, but he never came to my door. So, but so I heard that
It's very, very small.
I heard you play drums yourself, correct,
I do. Yeah. So Karen, most
Karen?
people know, others don't, but the hardcore fans know, of course, that she was a very talented drummer, and she was a drummer before she was
Right.
doing much singing, actually. And she was, even until the end, she always considered herself a drummer who sang. By the mid-'70s, and the show that we were recreating, which is their 1976 touring show, she wasn't drumming the whole show, but she, of course, really still loved drumming, so the deal was that she would do a drum feature.
Yeah, there is a couple of videos with her playing the drums with him.
And singing at the same time.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Yeah, there's a couple of films that I know. I'm familiar with them. So
And
Sally
so
does it.
you perform on drums too, or?
I do. So in our main show, actually we do it in the Christmas show too because it's just so much fun. I do the drum feature that she would do in their '76 show.
Yeah, with a little Gene Krupa mix in.
Yeah.
Right.
It evolved, and then so we had some
Yeah.
Krupa into it, but
Yeah,
or
that's right.
it's mostly.
So we
singing,
both,
yeah.
one thing that we're proud of with the show was that a lot of people when they went to see the Carpenters in concert, at first after their big hits came out, Close to You and We've Only Just Begun, they really weren't prepared in the beginning for what can we do to perform, but in a very entertaining way. So they brought in some consultants that kicked it up a notch. And so by the time the mid-'70s came, they were doing things in their live shows. People were like, "Oh my God, I didn't know that," and they had comedy. And Richard was a big fan of Spike Jonze, and he does this real parody on Close to You. He did a big classical feature. And so I do a classical feature. I do an excerpt from Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue, and I do this Bach invention while Karen sings from this moment on. And she has her drum feature. So the takeaway is people, when they come to the show, they go in expecting to hear all the greatest hits, which of course we give to them. But they also come out fans of, oh my God, what an entertainer that Karen and Richard was.
Right.
And although there are some acts out there who do, tributes to the Carpenters' music, we pride ourselves at being probably the only act that performs in character as Karen and Richard, the dialogue, the features, and everything.
One of the genius things behind that show and the Broadway consultants that they brought in to kind of revamp their onstage performance was that it effectively tells the audience or communicates to them the story of how Karen and Richard came to be the Carpenters without them having, they don't see, first I did this, then I did that, but it tells the story. Mm-hmm. And so for us doing it now in 2021, and a lot of people not remembering exactly what the Carpenters were doing, unless of course they were a hardcore Carpenters fan, it tells the story. So it's still very valid.
Right, their concert was a bio of their lives.
Well, it's real good. It's real good to open up the eyes to a lot of people, to bring back memories, as well as opening eyes to people who didn't know who they were. Even though you may have heard their songs, it's really good to bring it out.
We have a lot of young fans. We really do. You know,
Well, I
Sally
think that,
was
sorry.
extremely young when Karen.
I think that it's. I think that's always a good thing to bring back people who have had a huge impact on the music industry. And most young people, it doesn't take them very long to get familiar with it, because baby boomers always played it around the house anyway. They've heard it, but they now hear it in samples and they're not sure. Because sometimes when I used to sing songs to my daughter, she'd go, "How do you know that song?" You know, but it was in a sample of a new song that they heard, and they were wondering.
Oh.
I said, "Well, it's not really new. We've sang this song. It's not very hard to get the young people. It's just that they've got to be exposed to it. Once they're exposed to it, because they know real music. You know, your body tells you real music over, you know, the synthetic stuff. Now, I'm not saying you can't do synthetic music, but it's nice to combine them so they sound good, you know, nowadays.
That's when you know you're getting older. I remember I used to perform as Jerry Lee Lewis, and I
Right.
went into a costume shop looking for a hairpiece.
Oh,
Lady working there, when I was looking for it, she said, "What for?" I said, "Well, I performed as Jerry Lee Lewis." She went, "Who's that?" I went,
Yeah,
"Oh, my
right.
God."
Now,
She's
how
in her
do,
20s. She's Jerry Lee Lewis.
how do people get a hold of
you?
how do people get a hold of you guys?
Well, they can go to our website. It's carpenterstributeconcert.com. We're also on Facebook.
You can check out our tour page, see
Instagram.
what we're doing. We've got a store. You can buy some little merch and
Right up.
all kinds of.
Would you give that website again?
It's carpenterstributeconcert.com.
All right.
And we're on Facebook.
Yeah. Now our next
Instagram.
performance, we are at the Sanders Winery in Pahrump on May.
In Pahrump,
29th.
okay, yep. Right up.
And then
Also, too, I would like to. I just played the. I'm sure you've probably been up there before, but I just played the Sterling Club, which was a really, really nice. It was a nice, gig.
I did it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think I saw on Facebook that you were there. I was like, "Oh, Ned, Ron's."
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were just.
And it was really a nice gig. And the next time you're up there, let me know. You know, Kimberly and I will drop in.
I
too,
would love
as
to.
well.
I
as
would
well
love
as
to go
John.
up there too.
John did all my
I
video
was out there with Christopher Nolan.
Oh, yeah, I've known
Chris.
I've known Christopher for ages, Mr. Nat King Cole. Yeah, Mr. Nat King Cole. I've known Chris now, Jesus.
So that's you in that picture.
So it's you in that picture.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay, yeah, I know
He
Chris.
gets peeked around.
And I actually haven't seen Chris, or well, I know why I haven't seen him, but Kimberly and I go back and forth to Australia, because Kimberly's from Australia, and my kid's born in Australia, so I go back and forth.
Nice.
And we weren't able, we're actually 3 hours north of Sydney and Newcastle.
Okay, near towards Cairns.
No, that's further up. That's
Okay.
further up. That's
20 hours.
20 hours above.
You go to Laughlin and turn left. Okay.
Yeah, right. No.
So
In terms of where it is, if you want to visualize from where we're at in Las Vegas, go to California and then go to Canada. That's how far the distance is. But if you want to go to the Gold Coast, if you want to go to the Gold Coast in Queensland, then it's only 9 hours. It's 9 hours.
We want to know about the 50th anniversary
I wanna-
celebration.
Before we go to that, I see your baby's hiding his face there.
Hers.
Oh yeah.
His camera's shy.
That's because she's looking at John.
Yeah.
No, tell me about the 50th anniversary.
So the Carpenters, they celebrated their 50th anniversary of signing with A&M Records in April of 2019. So we were honored and fortunate to be entertainment at that event in Thousand Oaks.
All
So
right,
there were about
way out in the valley, huh?
100. Yeah.
And our show was relatively new then. It's like our second performance.
Right.
So pretty
Oh,
scary.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Entertainment First podcast, where it's all about the music and more, and I've been here tonight with my co-host, Mr. John E. Williams.
The third.
If you've got one more question you want to ask, that's fine, but I'm about to wrap it up.
Yeah. All I have to ask is, what could you say to the younger generation about the Carpenters?
Well, if they haven't taken the time to check it out and listen to it, obviously I strongly urge them to. And even if they're not a fan of what they would think is oldies music, I think they will be surprised and quickly become fans, because the music it's just really, it's timeless, and it just has so much integrity.
They sold over 100 million records. They were the top-selling duo of the 1970s.
Yes, right. Along with Captain and Tennille.
Yeah, they outsold them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, tons of, and with the young people, what's really beautiful, they're like, oh my God, a melody. I can understand the words. What a concept, right? So I think that's why there's been a throwback to, a lot of that. You're hearing some stuff sounds kind of retro 70s, little hints of R&B and disco and, Bruno Mars and that thing. That's definitely been a big influence in that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've had Ned Mills and Miss Sally Olson on our show today,
And
representing the Carpenters. That's right, the tribute concert for the Carpenters. You have been listening and watching the Entertainment First podcast, where it's all about the music and more. And thank you so much for coming on the program. We really do appreciate it. And hopefully we see you in the near future. On behalf of my producer, Ms. Kimberly Knight, too, as well. And once again, my co-host, Mr. John E. Williams, thank you so much for coming on, brother. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for putting a lot of music.
No worries,
Yeah.
no worries, mate.
And I hope to see your show in the future.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile.
And I want to see his show too.
Facebook loves you guys.
Take care.
Facebook loves you guys.
Bye-bye.
Yay.
Bye.
Woohoo.